Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Hearthstone Balance patch 26.2.2 was delayed by a day, but it is coming today and the patch notes are now out, so we have all the details about all the nerfs and buffs. So what do we have here? Hearthstone updates, developer comment. Overall, the meta is in a pretty good spot right now, with lots of competitive options for players across almost every class. This is our opportunity for some adjustments that hit a few power outliers and play experience outliers. We're also including a few buffs that we hope will give players a few more neutral options and open up some space for the weaker classes. Alright, yeah, the meta is quite diverse. I've been making these best decks videos about decks that are capable of climbing to legend somewhat easily, and recently I've been having like 16 decks in these videos, and sometimes it's been less than 10. But the meta might be diverse, but the festival is kind of missing. Looking at popularities of cards, then Festival of Legends cards of the expansions in the standard format. Only Voyage to the Sunken City is less popular than Festival. Both of the other expansions remaining in standard are far more popular than Festival of Legends, and that kind of dims what the new expansion has been about. And are these going to address that? Well, let's see. The following cards have been adjusted to be less powerful. Sinful Brand. New brand an enemy minion whenever it takes damage, deal 1 damage to the enemy hero. Demon Hunter is one of the few power outliers in this meta with several competitive archetypes. Sinful Brand is standout within that class in both power and negative play experiences. This change is intended to kill the class. Well, it doesn't actually say that. Significantly reduce the power and prevalence of that card. Yeah, I mean, this does kill that specific archetype, right? I'm not going to miss it. I'm totally fine with that. Fellscale Evoker, old 5 attack, new 3 attack. This is a standout card in the newly emergent Big Demon Hunter. Its powerful effect makes it one of the strongest cards in the deck. It doesn't also need to be a threat in its own right. We think it's really cool that Big Demon Hunters finally become a competitive archetype, and we expect that the archetype will continue to see play after this slight adjustment. Alright, I'm not sure if Big Demon Hunter needed to be adjusted, but it is one of the better decks, and when you're nerfing multiple strong decks, then it makes sense to touch the power level of Big Demon Hunter as well a little bit, and this is the slightest touch that they can do, touching the attack or health of the Fellscale Evoker, not touching the mana cost so that it can still be played in the same pattern, but making it a little bit less of a threat. So, okay, I think I'm kind of fine with this. I'm not sure if it was necessary, but the deck should still be playable and competitive. Predation. Old 3 mana 3 damage, new 2 mana 2 damage. The latest Steno Predation combo has been used across many Demon Hunter decks for a long time. This change is intended to be a smaller adjustment across the entire class. Okay, a little bit of weakening there, sure. Then Battlefield Necromancer from 3 health to 2 health and Blightfang from 3 mana to 4 mana. Both these Death Knight cards were buffed last expansion, which was necessary when the class was struggling, although I must note that buffing these didn't help. Buffing these didn't actually make Unholy all that much better. It just made these cards broken. So I would have just reverted the change and be done with that, but somehow they want the 1-3 footman to remain, but make the Necromancer easier to kill if you can bypass the footman. Okay, I'm not a huge fan, and make Blightfang a little bit slower. Alright. High Cultist Basalev from 4 mana to 5 mana. With High Cultist Basalev they are reverting the old change. Okay, I guess that's fine. Undead Priest is pretty strong. Basalev really didn't need to be stronger. It was another buff that didn't make sense to me back when it was buffed, so like, why? And now it's, well, I don't know, just changing back and forth. Then Anub'Rekhan. Old Battlecry gain 8 armor, new Battlecry gain 5 armor. So they keep the mana cost of Anub'Rekhan the same, so you can still combo this with your hero power and bunch of stuff, but the armor gain is now smaller, so you can't just play Anub'Rekhan and immediately off Anub'Rekhan start chaining all of your other stuff. Yeah, I don't know why it's 5 armor. I want to think that there's some specific breakpoints that they have been analyzing, and they want specific play patterns to not be available, but the dev comment doesn't exactly say. And then the Scribbling Stenographer from 6 mana to 7 mana. Miracle Rogue is not a power outlier at most levels of play, but it remains strong and prevalent at higher levels of play. I don't really play in like top 100 legend right now, so it doesn't matter to me at all what happens to Miracle Rogue, but okay, fine. I mean, cards that have mana cheating are super powerful typically, and this is one of those cards, so I'm always all for all mana cheating to be removed or made weaker in this game. That's just a personal preference and something that I would think would be very healthy for Hearthstone. The above craftable cards will be eligible for a full dust refund for 2 weeks. Alright. And then the buffs. The Warlock buff, Symphony of Sins. From 6 mana to 5 mana. Oh, there would be so many cool things that they could have done with Symphony of Sins, but players really love playing this card, but it's not very powerful. This changes to make it a little more palatable to play this exciting card. Thing is, it's not really exciting, because when you play it, you have no idea whether you're going to get what you need or not. There's just too many options in that Discover, and they do 2 different things. And this doesn't help with that at all, so I just think there's a missed opportunity on what could have been interesting buffs to Symphony. From the depths, from 4 mana to 3 mana, reduce the cost of the bottom 5 cards in the deck by 2, then dredge. Developer comment, Warrior has gotten more options, more power and more play after recent adjustments, but players still hunger for a slower Warrior. We're making this adjustment to a proven powerful card that we expect will see play again after this change. The playstyle of all Warrior playstyles during the last 10 years, this is the one that I despise the most. this random mana cheating playstyle, which I don't think Hearthstone needs mana cheating. So I'm super sad that this is what they chose to do to make Warrior more powerful. I mean, it should work. From the Depths has been a playable card, but yeah. Chorus Riff, from +2/+2 to +3/+3. They didn't change the mana cost, but the buff is quite meaningless. We recently made a few adjustments to the Rift package, and those adjustments were successful in raising the play rate and power of the Rifts package. But now Chorus Rift is weakest of the Rifts, it always was. It always was by far the weakest, and now it's just super bad compared to every other card in every deck where it's played. All the Rifts need to be good for the package to be good. That one I can definitely agree with, I have said that so many times. This is a slight nudge to make that whole package a little stronger. Yeah, very slight nudge. I would have really loved to see this at 2 mana. Then I think the package would have actually been playable. Now, yeah. Demolition Renovator is getting tradable. That's what all people were expecting, kind of. And then there's that Rotten Applebaum buff. From a 4/5 to a 4/6 that restores 6 health. That's actually not a bad card. I think you could try to build something. I mean, I would want to build a Contra Warlock with this. That's what I want to play, I suppose. Dev comments, Demolition Renovator has never seen much play, so we wanted to make it feel a little better as a tech card option. On the other hand, tech cards that are this super specific, I always feel bad when they are used. I think they might be necessary. Like, if they totally miss on power levels, then having those tech cards in the game can be okay, because then there is something that players can do until balance patch comes to save you. But overall, whenever those tech cards actually see play, I think there's some problems with balancing. So I'm not a huge fan of making it tradable, although I see it okay, fine. Rotten Applebaum is getting a decent buff to add an option for slower decks that want to target aggressive strategies. Yes, please. Rotten Applebaum, let's go. I wasn't too thrilled about hearing that Rotten Applebaum is getting buffed. Like, okay, why? Who even plays that card? But it actually looks like a fine card right now, so I'm going to give it a try. And finally, there's the Pandaren Importer Revert. Developer comment, Pandaren Importer was previously adjusted due to an unintended play pattern in Standard. Now that it's in Wild, that concern no longer exists and the prior change can be reverted. They promised this change and they somehow forgot to include it earlier, but now it's here, so nothing surprising there. That's totally fine. So that's the balance patch. Diversity-wise, I think we're going to have a pretty diverse meta. It looks good in that regard. Festival of Legends-wise, I don't think we're going to see a ton of Festival of Legends still. And fun-wise, well, fun is subjective, but we'll see. I just think the current problem with Hearthstone is not diversity. It's fun. But how do you fix fun? That's super hard. Hopefully these buffs and nerfs will do that. We'll see. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.